Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gred podcast. I'm Maury.
I'm Reid.
I'm Sahara.
We're back.
What we got going on?
We're so back.
We're so back.
We're so back. We've been gone for a little bit. But we're so back.
We're so back.
It's so over.
What's Sahara's question?
All right. So before we started recording this evening, I was talking to my best friend, and I was like, "Do you have any question ideas?" And she's like, "I do." And so she asked me this question, and we were debating it a little bit. She had the bright idea of which YouTubers should or should not be the next US president.
Oh. Alright, so I'm feeling just YouTubers, or can we throw streamers in there?
Sure.
Alright, I'm feeling like Destiny would be a good president. Because he's kind of an asshole, and that's a good quality to have in a president.
Of course.
Yes. I feel Mizkif, Hassan, David Dobrik, the Paul brothers would do a terrible job.
Mm-hmm.
Mama Max would do a bad job. I think Mudahar would do a good job as president. CoffeeZilla would do a good job, I think.
I'd vote for Critical.
Critical would be fun.
I'd vote for him.
Critical would be fun.
100%.
Okay, today we're gonna have free healthcare, but in order to get it, you have to say your mom's gay.
I'm actually bringing back the Coliseum. If you want free healthcare, we'll pay for your college if you win a duel to the death in the Coliseum.
My first act as president is to give
Everyone
an
gets-
executive order that I must be in every Hunger Games movie.
I've actually talked to some friends of mine, researchers. And they all said that if we give everyone free fleshlights, it'll eliminate sexual assault forever. So that's what I'm doing. Pick up your free fleshlights at every gas station.
I'm gonna come real strong for education.
Moist critical as president. Great.
I would definitely vote.
I'd vote.
I feel
One
like
we were personally.
I feel like if J Station became president, I would try to assassinate him.
I think everyone would.
I feel
That's a
like
canon event.
Yeah.
well, one, he's Canadian, and two, it's J
That's true.
Station.
Canadian Prime Minister Jay Station.
God, I would go over there and still assassinate. J Station can't be a world leader.
Yeah.
Oh, Nerd City.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be. Yeah, he'd be a good president.
Prime Minister of Sweden, PewDiePie.
Well, he's in
Yeah.
Japan now, so.
Eh.
President of Japan, PewDiePie. What's going on, bros?
That'd be hilarious.
I would pay.
I'd move there. I
They
want
would-
to see.
They would vote. They would vote for him.
I want
I
to see what
think they'd
happens.
vote for him. In Japan.
It's kind of like a train
I
wreck.
could see it.
You don't want to look away. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Mr. Beast as President of the United States.
You know,
All
who's
right.
got the funding?
I will pay off personally all of the US debt. That's what he'd say.
Last person to leave the circle gets health care.
I covered all of our debt myself. You're all welcome. No one will
Last
ever be in
person-
debt ever again.
Last person to leave the circle gets free college.
Do you think Mr. Beast just has Midas touch?
Yes.
Yeah.
He just
Kinda.
produces money.
Kinda, but it's with
Yeah.
YouTube channels.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
just subs.
If he
Also,
just shows up, then
he's
there you go.
really good at escalation.
yeah.
Like, I like not too long ago, like that motherfucker created a supply chain to the Ukraine.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not normal YouTuber activities.
No, but I see it and I appreciate the hustle.
Yeah, I feel like
One,
he's gonna get canceled soon, though. I saw.
yeah, he's been having it too good.
No, he did a video with Logan Paul. There's a
Oh.
bunch of other YouTubers
Yep.
there, but I feel like
It's over.
Twitter's gonna be like, "Why are you platforming a scammer? Why?" And honestly, deserved. Why are you that stupid? Why would you give him that ammo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One that we were talking about for president
Hmm.
that we think would do at least a decent job was Jeffree Star. I would love to see him paint the White House pink.
I do not think. No. That is so bad.
Why?
It's Jeffree Star. That's why. Just because
Why?
he runs a fucking cosmetic brand doesn't mean he can run the country. What
That's not what I'm basing it off of.
are you basing it off of?
Every single video and all the personality I've seen through him. I've been watching him since I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I used to listen to his music too.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I don't think he'd do good.
Okay, why?
Just based off everything I've seen from him. I also feel like him painting the White House peak would blow up in his face.
Well, yeah, obviously.
It's been a second. I haven't been paying attention to Jeffree Star ever since that controversy happened with him. What did he do again?
When he got exposed as racist,
Ah,
or
Or which one?
well, there's multiple, but
yeah, that's
I
what
don't know
was,
which one you're talking about.
That's what I was thinking about when you told me Jeffree Star. I mean, I know he
Okay.
did a lot of shit.
But
Did he do anything pedophile-y?
no.
Okay, okay.
Mm-mm.
I'm thinking
No.
of James Charles. My
You are.
bad.
It would be funny. I would like to see, based on if it was a race between James Charles or Donald Trump, I want to see who would win.
Donald Trump.
I just want to see the voting numbers, like how many people would vote.
Know what? Anthony Fantano for president.
You know what? All right.
Nah.
Nah?
Nah.
Why not? He's got great music opinions.
Yeah.
Hmm?
That's. Isn't he like retiring? I think he's retiring.
No, he's not.
I thought he said he did.
No, he's still going.
No, I thought I saw a video of his that said, "I'm retiring."
Oh, that was clickbait. I saw the snip. I know what you're talking about. He was
Oh.
talking about how he was having other people come on to his channel to do reviews occasionally. So, because apparently a bunch of people who did music reviews got fired.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's been having them come on to do their own reviews, and as like a little shout out.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
One time one time he did something super funny where he had one of them come on to respond to Logic.
Mm-hmm.
Because Logic was like, they were doing Anthony Fantano and Logic were doing a back and forth. And then Anthony Fantano got tired of it. So he had this person come on and he was like, "There's no more responses. I'm done, Logic." It's crazy that the YouTuber had to say that.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's also crazy that he was able to dunk on Drake the way he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about when the beef happened. He got fucking diced up by Fantano.
I mean, I feel like it's not the first. Not the first rapper to get made
Diced,
fun of.
diced up by
By
Fantano.
Yeah.
That's true. You see his the new Gunna album review he did?
No.
where like
Not
instead
yet.
of actually reviewing it, it was just him sleeping on like it's him sleeping where he does his reviews.
Yeah,
And
it's actually pretty funny.
and it's 10 minutes of him sleeping. And at one
Nice.
point he gets a
Hey.
phone call, he answers it, and then he goes back to sleep.
That's base.
I
I love that for him.
that is the most fucking hilarious way you can say you're sleeping on an album.
Yes.
Want to talk about strangers, Sahara?
Sure.
All right. Am I taking the lead or was
Yeah.
So a while ago, Maury, Sahara and I went and saw Strangers Part 1.
Okay.
It's a remake of the original Strangers movie. And at first, when Sahara said, "Oh, you really want to go see this?" I said no, because Strangers is probably one of the more scary horror movies in like the history of horror, because it's one of those movies that actually makes you scared, like outside of the
Yeah.
movie, because it's some shit. It's like the premise is it can happen to you, right?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
justified. However, did I call Reed a wiener and guilt trip him in going to see the movie with me? Yes, I
Did I
did.
emotionally
Oh,
manipulate
absolutely.
my friend to get my way? Yes, I did.
That sounds like
I
the
did.
that sounds like the,
At least I
the
paid.
title. Sounds like the title to a Mr. Beast video.
I emotionally manipulated my best friend.
Yeah.
Friend, but it was okay. I agreed to go see it, and we started watching it.
Mhm.
Genuinely,
No, hang on. Wait. You skipped past one of the best parts of this entire interaction. We get to the ticket counter or the concession stand, and we're like, 2 tickets for The Strangers Part 1. And the guy literally turns on the screen where you can pick your seats, and he goes, "All right, out of the 11 other people viewing this movie, where do you want to sit?" With the complete monotone, like, you really want to see this movie? It was.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
yeah. So there's a reason why I get to
Great.
skip that.
I love that part. Anyway,
So, like, I don't like horror movies. It's
and I love them.
It's I don't know. It's less of a scary thing because I don't mind being scared. It's more. Actually, no, I kind of do, but it's more for me. Like, it's got to be a good ass movie, and the characters got to be like making decent decisions. Because if they start making dumb decisions, then I can't get into the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this movie, Maury, They could have killed. They could have killed the killers. They had it, Maury.
Multiple times.
They had the tools to kill all of the killers, or
Yeah.
evade them. So they
Mhm.
go, but we're not there yet. The movie starts out of this couple and they're driving in a car, and it's. I don't like how much they're trying to remind us how modern it is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she gets an approval for a home loan through Ally Bank, and she's like, "Oh, babe, Ally responded to our loan." Hello? Excuse me?
Ally.
No, thank you. No, the Ally Bank little ad in there was in the first 5 minutes,
Yeah.
or
Right.
maybe 10.
So that's when you're
And
like
we were-
first paying attention. That's when you're really paying attention to the movie, like the first
Right.
5 minutes.
Yeah, and you're establishing the characters, and like one of the things about one of the main characters. I don't know if I should divulge this yet. Well, it bothered.
Hold Hold it. Wait.
Okay. Anyway, I'm waiting.
So they're driving and they go, and the girlfriend goes, "Oh, I'm hungry," right?
Mhm.
So they go off and they pull off, and they go straight, and they go straight some more, and they go straight some more, and they
Well,
go straight.
the map said that it was really close and just up ahead a little bit in this teeny tiny town where she wanted to go eat.
Mm-hmm.
but it's just going straight for forever.
Yeah, and they're like, we got lost. And I was just like, turn the fucking car around. What? Straight-
Yeah, because they were just going straight. They could have just turned around and got back on the highway and just first 10 minutes.
They go into a diner and literally everybody in the diner looks at them, which is the most freaky shit. But before they walk in, these mechanics are looking at their car,
Mm-hmm.
and then they go into the diner. They eat,
Which is in the same lot too.
The guy in the relationship is trying to crack some jokes, and they are not landing.
Mm-mm.
Like,
And his girlfriend's vegetarian, so everyone's just like
cringe.
judging her more.
Honestly, I get it. Being a vegetarian is fucking cringe unless you have some dietary issue that requires you to be vegetarian. Now,
Yeah.
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 and then they
Now.
eat, they leave, and they go to their car, and their car won't start. And they're trying to start it, and the mechanic just like does that shit where they just kind of appear
Mhm.
out of
And
nowhere.
taps on the window.
Taps on the window, scares the shit out of the boy. The boyfriend gets out. He's like, the car's not starting. They check it.
Mind you, it's a BMW.
It's a BMW.
So
That's normal.
foreign car in small town. You do the math.
But so their car is not starting. The mechanic opens opens the hood, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I need to order a part for your car. This isn't gonna work."
Mm-hmm.
And then the waitress from the diner comes in. It's like, "Oh, you can stay at the Airbnb," and the boyfriend is like, "This is a fucking scam," and the girlfriend's like, "Babe,
Super loud.
babe, this isn't a scam." And he's like, "No,
You're so untrusting.
you're so untrusting." And he's like, "No, this is a scam." And she's like, "No, babe." And he's like, "Fine."
Reed was so pissed when he
I was-
saw that.
I was just like, well, like he's being not. He should have been more of an asshole in that situation, because the mechanics clearly did something to his car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were looking at it before they went in the diner. So I was just sitting there like, if I was there, I would have got. I was just like, no, this is bullshit. They fucked with the car.
Yeah.
I feel like most people would be able to make that argument and not
Yeah.
back down. But okay, noticed how the boyfriend noticed that the guys were looking at the car and he's being super
Yeah.
paranoid. Okay, remember that he did that.
Mm-hmm.
They go to
Remembering?
They go to the Airbnb. It's in like the middle of nowhere. Oh shit, I forgot. The movie opens with a murder. I forgot about that.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, like a business guy. But it doesn't matter. It serves really no purpose to the plot whatsoever.
Of course.
Well, it kind of does
Not
in the
really.
ending, but not enough for it to be a key point like they had it.
Like, they could have cut it out.
They could have just left it as like a background detail and then had that creepy moment later, but they didn't. They tried to showcase it and it didn't work.
It did not. What are you doing? What's that?
Sorry.
You're filing your nails, aren't you?
I'm sorry.
Throw the thing across your
I'm
room.
trying to behave.
Get away from it.
I'm trying to behave.
They go to the Airbnb.
Anyway.
They notice like the fridge isn't working, so they're there for one night. Okay, the fridge isn't
Yeah.
working. The lady calls the owner of it at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, wait.
It wasn't 2 a.m. yet. It's like 10 p.m.
It's like 10.
She
p.m.
calls the owner and he's trying to put his, was it PBR in the fridge? It's a super millennial beer in the fridge.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah,
like,
these people are
babe, it's not
millennials.
cold. And she's like, oh my God, we gotta call him. And so she calls him, he doesn't answer. And she's like, okay, cool, whatever. And so she goes back in the house.
But,
But like she went outside to call instead of staying inside in this creepy ass cabin in the woods.
But like, it's 10 a.m. It's 10 p.m. You're there for one night. Is this something you really
You'll
need
be
to?
fine.
Is this something? Do you really need to call for that shit?
Yeah.
No.
That feels like one that you deal with, and you go, "Oh, by the way, your fridge don't work," as you're leaving.
Yeah.
So the boyfriend goes. They get hungry. The boyfriend goes, get some food. I don't remember.
On the motorcycle.
Ryan's his name. I think. What's the girlfriend's name? I have no idea. So Ryan.
I don't know.
Ryan goes, gets food. The townspeople judge him while he's getting food. And the movie makes sure to show a bunch of the townspeople that are there, so we know that they're not the killers, right? Because simultaneously, while this is happening, some weird shit starts happening in the cabin. And
Okay.
the killers.
Wait! You missed a part
What did I miss?
when they were both there, and there was a knock at the door.
Oh, right, I forgot about that. Wait, isn't that?
Hang on.
I'm
looking for their name.
So they did in the strangers unit thing. It's pretty common. Maya. Sorry,
No, you're good.
My
The way
dog-
it cut off was really funny to me.
my dogs
Oh.
were losing their shit.
So, Reed missed a point. So, in the beginning, I'm gonna bring this back. So, we find out in the beginning, while they're driving to this town in the beginning, that Ryan is asthmatic and has to have an inhaler.
Oh right,
Mhm.
That's
This is important because he leaves the inhaler in the car, which he frequently needs. And so it's in town for the night. So when he goes to get food, it's really a mission to go get the inhaler and go get food.
It's so. It's
And when he goes to get the inhaler first, okay. So they're both there at the cabin when all of a sudden they hear like pounding, like the police are at the door. And like they open it and it's this girl, like thin girl. And you can't see her face. She has a skirt and like a beanie on, and she's like, "Is Tamara there?" And they're like, "No, nobody by that name's here." And then she's just staring at them, and then like walks away,
Yeah.
and is staring from the end of the street at the house, and it's real creepy.
Yeah, but she
And
also
then-
unscrewed the light bulb,
Yeah,
And
so they
I-
couldn't see her face.
and I was sitting there like, how the fuck do you not hear that? Like, that's so.
Yeah.
Have you ever been able to unscrew a light bulb quietly? Ever? Especially.
No,
She's
it
like-
always squeaks a little.
Just. They should have been able to fucking hear that. No argument. That's a plot hole.
Yeah, but they were also having sex in the kitchen, so
Okay, anyway, we're going back to when the lady's in the house by herself.
Yeah.
So the
because
killers
that's a
keep
great
on-
idea.
So the killers are doing that shit where they like appear next to the person so they
Yeah.
can't see him.
Yeah.
But
then
they did that
Like
so
that.
tastefully,
they did it well, but they did it too much.
They did do it too much.
I do not believe that a person could get away. They did it like, I think they did it like
A
6
lot.
times. They did it like 6 times at
Well,
least.
so there was when
This-
she was. My favorite was she's sitting at the piano, and she's playing the piano, and in the rocking chair behind her, like 10 feet away, is one of the killers just sitting there with a knife in their lap, just rocking in the rocking chair she's playing,
That's
and
kind
it's so crazy.
That was the best one, but there was a couple where it's like there's no way they would not have seen them, and like
Yeah.
the only male killer, he's like 6'4", gotta be like 250 pounds. There's no fucking way.
Dude's huge.
And like this movie makes sure to show that the floorboards in this cabin are super
Creaky.
creaky. So it's just like,
Mhm.
how the fuck is he moving around this cabin without it creaking? How are all of these these killers? I don't need an explanation. What's
Okay. But the women I would understand because they're a lot smaller. They're both like under 100 pounds.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or like under 120. So, but the only way it would make sense is if it was the owner of the cabin and he like knew where all the creaks were. But the floor is too creaky that it wouldn't even make sense. And there's one scene, like, you know how in every scary movie there's always a pretty girl in a shower and then the killer's on the other side.
Titties!
They did that. They
Of
did
course.
that, and it was just like,
Did they do the mirror
like,
thing?
She would have seen him. Did they?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, it's
But
not
there
so
was
bad.
like, yeah. But so she's in the house by herself, and the killers keep appearing around her, and she was drinking and getting high to like distract herself, and she's freaking out, and like, of course, they're stupid, and she sets her phone down. Ooh, but when Ryan comes back,
Hold on, you're skipping.
am I?
You're skipping around, Sarah. Gosh.
Okay.
In the bathroom, they did that. In the shower scene, it was like, it was a really nice bathroom. Like,
Too nice.
like the bathroom didn't make sense for the for the cabin that it was in. It didn't like, but it's one of those showers with walls, glass walls, and
Yeah.
the killer was standing like to the side.
The
of
male.
The male killer was standing to the side of her while she's showering, and like the camera, like she leans forward, she leans back in the shower, so like the killer's not there. Leans forward, camera moves with her, and she goes back, and the killer's standing there. And he's
Mhm.
like to
Yeah.
her side, and there's no fucking way that she would not see him through her periphery vision. Like,
Well, her eyes were closed for way too long. Your eyes aren't closed that long in the shower.
yeah, and then boyfriend gets back with the food. I would know the lights cut out. Did you talk about the lights going out?
No, that happens.
No, that happened.
That happened later because
No,
didn't
no,
he have to leave again?
no. The lights cut out.
Okay.
The lights cut out, and she's like looking around, and the killers are kind of like you see the killers moving around her, out of her line of sight while she's moving through the house.
Didn't the lady come back and ask for Tamara again when she was by herself
No,
too?
that didn't happen.
That didn't happen?
She comes back when the boyfriend gets back. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
but so
Anyway.
the house is pitch black. The girlfriend's looking around the house for the whatchamacallit, breaker switch. She finds it. She goes to like turn it on, but then one of the killers, like, she sees one of them standing right there with her eyeballs. So she fucking runs upstairs because, you know, the best place when you see an intruder in your house to go is a place where there's no escape from.
Except for a 2-story window where you're gonna break your legs and can't get away.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
And then she hides in the closet. The boyfriend comes back and is like, "Babe, what's going on, babe? What's going on?" And then they turn the lights back on, and she's like, "Hey, I saw a person inside this house. Mind you, they've been dating for 7 years."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, but the girlfriend's like, "I saw somebody in the house," and the boyfriend's like, "Have you been smoking?"
In his little pretentious voice.
Like, he completely dismisses her saying that, and it's just like, if
He's a
if-
boyfriend.
if my partner of 7 years told me, "Hey, there's somebody in the house, we're leaving," we're leaving,
To
or
me, that was a trust thing. And I was like, you don't trust your girlfriend of 7 years.
I mean, also it's like it's clearly clearly a thing that happened because the story needed it to happen. Because earlier it was shown that the boyfriend is like paranoid and pays attention to every detail, but here he is ignoring shit
And gaslighting.
and shit. They stay in the house, turn it on, they start eating, and then they look above them, and there's
Because something dripped.
blood.
And they thought,
Hold on, it's
ketchup.
blood. It's blood dripping
Yeah.
down from the ceiling, but they thought it was ketchup until they look up and see it's an animal carcass.
It was one of the chickens, because there was chickens on the property, and it was hanging from like an antler chandelier, and they only realized it wasn't ketchup because it dripped on their hand. And yeah, that was just weird.
And then the girlfriend, the girl came back and did the highs Tamara here, and then the boyfriend chased her down like he was gonna beat her ass, but the killer got away. And then they go back inside, and the male killer starts chopping down the door with his axe. Is that what happened next?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he chopped his.
I think.
He chopped down the door, and they start like chasing them. They run into a bedroom, and
this bedroom is very creepy. There's like, it like has not been touched in forever, and like, the vibes are weird. And there's like a sonogram picture on the bedside table, and the vibes in there are just off.
Yeah. Anyway,
Off.
He chops a big ass hole in the door and is staring at them for a bit, and then he just walks away.
And Sahara turned to Reid and goes, "Aw."
I don't get why you said "aw," but the killer just left them
He
there.
thought she was pretty.
The killers left them there, and then they go into the vents, and they go under the cabin. Now, at this point, they could just sit there forever. They're not gonna find you, because it's one of those houses that was built on a slope, so there's a lot of space under the house.
And it's like raised crawl space underneath. But like the girl is crawling, because why sit under the house where it's safe? Why not crawl? And so they're crawling, and she puts her hand on a rusty nail, and she almost screams, and she's like silent screaming, looking at him, and this dumbass pulls it out of her hand. Which I get it, but also that could have been in real life would be way worse. You're not supposed to pull things out and you put them in like that. You gotta be ready.
Yes, but it's I don't know. It's a nail through the hand. I don't think it's like a knife through the chest, but
yeah,
like I feel it could be fine. But they're being like kind of louder than they should be. And it's honestly shocking that the killers didn't hear them at this point. Because, like, more they're doing like the, hey, do you think they can hear us?
Yeah.
No,
I
think you're good. I think you're good. Killers, they go into a shed that's, like, over there by the house. The boyfriend starts looking around for first aid equipment, goes upstairs, and then at this point, the male killer grabs the girlfriend and is starting to pull her through the window when the boyfriend pops out of nowhere with a fucking shotgun and shoots at the killer, and his girlfriend misses both.
Miraculously.
Somehow, with the spread of a shotgun. He is so lucky that was not buckshot, because he would have killed his girlfriend if that was.
Oh yeah, 100%. But also, tell me why it took like how long would you say? How long was this movie? Like an hour and a half?
It took like an hour to start getting into the good shit.
No, hang on. How long was this movie? This movie total was an hour and 31 minutes. Tell me why it took an hour for them in a hunter's cabin to get a shotgun.
Oh, well, hold on. That makes
Why was
it's
there
an,
not
it's an
even
Airbnb.
one weapon?
It's an Airbnb.
Yeah,
You wouldn't
but
leave your
like,
guns around for
it's
people
not
to
even
find.
knives. There
Um,
wasn't even knives.
Okay, I'll give you the knives, but it's an Airbnb.
No
They're not gonna
knives.
have guns.
Yeah,
Like the shotgun was
No, but,
clearly
like-
left on accident.
well, maybe, but like, that was in the like garage type thing that he had, but like even like off the thing, like in like a little cellar thing, they would at least have one, and that one left by accident. I feel like there would have been at least a couple in the like shed thing he had.
No, he probably just forgot about that one shotgun that was not in the same
There was
spot.
like a lot of weird shit in there.
Okay. So, shoot at the killer, misses both somehow. Insane. I don't get how with the spread of a shotgun you could miss that hard. But the boyfriend's like, "Oh, I got a shotgun and plenty of bullets for the killers." So you think at this point you'd be able to win that situation because all of the killers have melee weapons. One of them has an axe, one has a machete, and one has a knife.
But you'd be dead wrong, my friend.
You'd be dead wrong. Maury, do you think you could win in
So
that situation?
Well, if I was who? If I was which one?
The boyfriend with a shotgun.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. I also think that. Personally, I think the
I
strat would
also
be
think that.
either search and destroy, or you just corner yourself in a room and it's like, come get me.
Did the boyfriend also find an axe
No.
at any point?
No.
I kind of feel
No.
like it.
Also,
But that's fine. Anyway.
Also, in between running to the shed from the house, he dropped his inhaler. Like a
Yeah,
dumbass.
which is
This motherfucker loses an inhaler so much, and I gotta say, this is an inaccurate depiction of a person with asthma. A person with asthma would pay attention to that shit.
Yeah. And so how long did it take for him to need the inhaler, would you say?
Oh. No, we're not gonna reveal that yet, okay?
Okay.
So they go around behind the house and down the side of it, and they hear someone moving around on the porch. And the boyfriend pops out and shoots and kills the owner that the girlfriend called. And the girlfriend goes, this pissed me off. The girlfriend is
I
like,
wasn't here for this part because I was at the bathroom.
the girlfriend's like,
I'm excited.
I think that's the owner. And I'm just sitting there like, why would you say that? Why would you say, I think that's the owner? That's something you keep to yourself because your boyfriend's going to have to kill more people tonight and you don't need him hesitating. Right? Or
but he didn't even...
am I smoking crack here?
No, you're not. And that... he had the right energy. And then she went and said that and then had him second guessing everything he did for the rest of the movie.
She's a dumbass, and but...
That's why he didn't propose to her.
Then they go to the bike, the motorcycle, and the fucking killer explodes the motorcycle.
Or were they trying to get to it and it was already on fire?
No, that already happened. No, I think that... Okay, forgive us, we saw this movie a couple weeks ago, so it's kind of hard to remember some shit. Some shit we're gonna get wrong. I think they exploded the bike. The killer exploded.
Gone.
The killer exploded the bike when he in that first stint of breaking down the door. I think, like the first. Yeah, but I saw the killer did. Door,
and then ran out the window, and then they were like, "Get to the bike!" And then they go to get on the bike, and it's already on fire and exploding.
No, the killer stood right there as it exploded. And it was the most based shot of that movie.
It was really good. A lot of the cinematography was really good. There was just a lot of overplayed shit.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like...
The unique bits...
I saw that, and I was like, that's based as fuck.
Yeah, the unique bits were done really well.
Yeah. And then, so after the boyfriend kills the owner of the cabin, they go to take his car, and they're trying to leave. And then the male killer just absolutely T-bones their car in his truck. And you'd think at this point the boyfriend would reach over into the back seat where he has put the shotgun and grab it and shoot the male killer in the head with the shotgun. But no, he just allows himself to get in the car, get pushed against a tree. At this point, he could shoot the killer at any point. The killer stops, gets out of the truck without making any noise. Closed the door too, without making any noise, and then he appears on the in front of the hood of the car, and he acts through the windshield. And then the boyfriend grabs the shotgun and shoots and misses. Somehow.
Right.
Somehow. At this point, the boyfriend's stuck in the car, so the girlfriend leaves the boyfriend, and she runs out into the forest. Boyfriend struggles to get out, kicks the windshield out of gets out with the shotgun, and runs off into the forest after his girlfriend. But I think there was like a good 2 minutes between him doing that and her leaving, so...
She had hell of a head start.
Yeah, she had a hell of a head start. They're running through the forest, and she's like... She goes to the spot the businessman in the beginning ran to, and she hides under a bunch of bushes and shit.
Yeah, she camouflaged herself. Great idea.
That was 10 out of 10 thinking, and I'm like, all right, you know, maybe the characters are starting to be smart. Incorrect.
Yeah, because then the killer stood over her and didn't see her.
But her dumbass ended up getting out at some point of that. And then the killer...
because she looked over and saw the dead businessman next to her, silently screamed to herself too loudly, and then decided she needed to move instead of living. Yeah, so she gets knocked the fuck out at this point. And the boyfriend's running around the forest with the shotgun looking for her. He finds an ATV. He starts having an asthma attack. The male killer's on his ass, chasing him. Having an asthma attack.
He's having an asthma attack. So the man makes an inhaler out of a fucking water bottle.
Which was based.
Which, like, again, look, character being smart.
Every time my character was smart, they went and went back to being stupid.
Like, for whatever smart things they do in this movie, Maury, they have to do something that's twice as dumb.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay.
So
You're not ready for this bit.
He finds one of the female killers, Maury. He has shotgun to the back of her head, right?
Yeah.
The male killer, I'd have to say, is probably about half a mile away from this.
Okay.
Shotgun pointed back the head. He's like, turn around. I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then the boyfriend goes.
No.
And the female killer screams. This is the one that's like supposed to be the younger female killer, the one that has like the knife. The female killer screams at the top of her lungs.
This is also the one that keeps coming to the door asking for Tamara.
Yes, and he's like, the boyfriend's like, what was that? You know, they always say that your first kill's the hardest. Well, you're my second. And then at this point, the boyfriend turns, and the male killer's right there, and the male killer knocks him the fuck unconscious.
With the axe.
Dude.
Like, we were so pissed.
I was pissed. I said to Sarah, and if I was in that situation, you know what I do? I put shotgun to the back of her head, and then I whisper in her ear, haha, cringe, and then I blow her brains out.
Valid.
And then they get killed by the killers. Well, wait.
They did.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like, they stab the boyfriend first, and then they push him on his side.
They're tied to chairs. Yeah, they're tied to chairs in the cabin again.
And then they stab the girlfriend, and then she wakes up in the hospital because she didn't die, and it's like, oh, she lived, and then
she's laying in the hospital bed. It's dark and stormy, and then and she sits up, and all of a sudden, next to her, you see the male killer in the bed with her.
Yep. Overall, and it cuts to black. Overall, this movie is trash. I saw a review.
It's not the worst one I've seen.
Well, I saw a review that kind of encapsulates it pretty well. It was like strangers used to be something that could happen to anything. You'd be scared to walk to the parking lot. Now,
yeah,
the things that happen in a stranger movie can only happen in a stranger's movie.
Yeah, there was so many. We were critiquing it the whole time. We were like, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that in this movie. It was beautifully. The cinematography was beautiful. Like, some of the shots were really good. There was too many what do you call them? Like, setting up shots.
Oh, establishing shots?
Yeah, establishing shots. That's what I'm looking for.
I was getting that impression.
There was so many. But
yeah, this movie...
there was a lot of times where it was like, wow, that was a really good part. They were doing a really good job of like all the suspense, but the suspense did not build up for what happened. And like there was a good over 40 minutes of suspense building in the beginning.
And the payoff just wasn't that good.
Yeah, and it felt rushed at the end. Like it needed to be longer.
Also,
because I don't think the killers would have killed him that quickly.
Also, the killer... Yeah, no, in the original movies, they would spend like an hour doing that. But in the... in this movie, like, it decides when sound happens randomly. It tries to be like have you like focus on sound, like all the sounds that the two that are running from the killers are making.
Mm-hmm.
But like it does, the same rules do not apply for the killers at all, and it makes no sense. Like at the end, where the male killer just automatically finds where the guy and the other killer are, automatically, like he's got GPS lock on them, off a scream. Like, you could get close, but it's not going to be dead on.
Yeah, what is he?
He also kind of fucking teleported there. He was like half a mile away.
He was far away.
He was far, and he got there in like 30 seconds.
Literally, she screamed, was laughing, doing some Harley Quinn shit, and then all of a sudden he was there and knocked that guy out.
Like, also, like... It was weird. The boyfriend he could have, like... Killer goes to knock him out. He's moving with a lot of speed, right? So the boyfriend could just, like, lower himself and push his legs out from under him and have him go up and over him. You know? Yeah. Like...
because he had to... the blunt force trauma he got was from a freaking axe. So, also, the force he had to have behind the axe...
What a shitty weapon to use, too. Like...
Also, what a shitty monologue he gave.
Axes suck.
Yeah, they do.
If you're gonna kill somebody, if you're listening and you're planning on killing somebody, don't use an axe. Like, all the person they have to do is just get close to you, and then you're gonna struggle to swing it. So just don't do that.
Yup.
I give this movie a 3 out of 10.
I give it like a 4.5.
Really, 4.5. It seems a little high.
Yeah.
Well,
Maury, off of our description,
If...
what would you give it?
It sounds like all the movies Cabin in the Woods parodies. So I'd probably give it like a 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's not even one of those good horror movies where you can turn your brain off and not listen to it. Like Friday or fucking Freddy Krueger movies. You know, it's not.
Yeah, I don't think I would watch it again unless
there's going to be 2 other parts and they're already filmed.
Yeah, I want to see those, but like I don't think they're going to be good at all. I think we should pirate those.
Piracy is based. So Destiny 2's ending, right,
anyway.
Maury?
So, Destiny 1 released 2014. So 10 years ago. I was 12. And I really liked Halo at the time. And I heard that Bungie, left Halo and they were trying to make their own game by themselves. And they made, I think that in Halo 3 ODST, there's actually an Easter egg of a poster that has the Destiny symbol on it. Because they had already started kind of, all it was an idea, and they put it in the game as like a poster in the game.
Okay.
And then, so 2014, it released, and it was honestly kind of shit. The world was amazing, You can tell there was something there, and the gameplay was always good because it's Bungie. But there was really nothing there, no substance. And it all seemed like so much could be done with it that wasn't being done with it. And slowly over time, it kind of developed, and they kind of, I think what happened was they had an entire story written out. And then when they introduced the story, like 6 months before the game released, when they showed the story off to whatever higher ups, they didn't like it. So they started over 6 months before the game even came out. And they struggled to like take the pieces of gameplay and make a story with the gameplay kind of on top of it, or just the story on top of it, over just like the gameplay that they already had and the missions and so on. And it's actually happened multiple times over the years that they had a story for a DLC or something, and then they didn't like it, and they just started over. A lot of times they'll do stuff and they won't know what the fuck it is. They won't know what it means. Like in D1, the story, there's this character named the Exo Stranger. Really cheesy writing. She was always like pretentiously deep about everything she said. And it was revealed like 4 years later that they had no idea what the fuck she was even talking about. She was referring stuff that they had no idea what it meant. They were talking out their ass. And it's, they had 10 years to come up with something, and there's been, I would say, probably 4 good actually good DLCs that they've released with good stories in them. And that was first was Taken King, and then was Forsaken, and then was Witch Queen, and then Rise of Iron was another one.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. Keep talking.
Okay.
Okay.
And those were pretty good. Witch Queen was actually like surprisingly like intricate, like actually a good story. There was not a lot of emotion, but there was a good mystery behind everything, and there's some good like reveals of stuff. There's twists and turns like an actual story would, which at the time was, unseen. No one thought Bungie could actually make a good story anymore. Forsaken was good just because it was really simple, and they didn't like try to do anything super crazy, and they just didn't suck at writing, 100%. And they had the whole thing of Cade 6 voiced by Nathan Fillion dying, which was everyone's favorite character in Destiny. So that really brought in a lot of people, and they used his death as kind of a motivation to, do whatever they wanted with the story, which is pretty good. The characters actually they actually felt like characters, like there was something there, and that's about the time that I actually started caring a little bit more about the story, was in Forsaken, which was, I don't even know, like 4 years ago, I think. 5 maybe?
Right.
4. And then was Shadowkeep, which was one of the biggest piece of dog shits. There's just boring, just boring. And it gave more questions than answers, and it just like showed you stuff and then didn't give an explanation behind any of it. Because again, this whole thing about restructuring stuff at the last minute Same thing had happened with Shadowkeep, because the writers wrote Forsaken, and then they went on to do Shadowkeep, and then the thing happened where they had the whole story lined up perfectly, and then turns out they didn't like it, so they started over right before it came out. And then they went on to do Witch Queen, and Witch Queen was pretty good. And then after that was Lightfall, and Lightfall was overall not terrible, but the thing that everyone talks about is the writing of the story felt really, really weird, specifically of a character called Nimbus, which was a brand new thing, which is a weird thing to introduce right at the end. This really important, seems like something massive, right before the ending, a year before the ending. So that was last year. All the characters in that DLC, it just felt like there's no build up to a payoff. So like a character would die that you just met, and it would be treated like insane.
Interesting. And
really sad, but like you don't even you just met him. You don't really care. No one really cared. So far they've made some pretty good DLCs, but there's never been actually insanely good writing. Like, you've never really been like, wow, that was really well written, that was really well said or something, It was like interesting, but you could always tell that it was just like, oh, it's just Bungie being Bungie, It's just like something you just have to look past. How it always was. And this is the first DLC where I said multiple times that was really well written.
Nice.
And it was genuinely insane how good the writing was at all times. And I genuinely cared about all the characters that I hadn't really cared about in 10 years. Like Commander Zavala, he has this really crazy arc that has been building up literally for 10 years about how his family died when he had just started, when he had gotten revived by his ghost, and he pointed a gun at his ghost and asked him to revive his family, and the ghost said, "I literally can't." And then he said that he would do anything to bring his family back. So he ends up like joining up with this like enemy that's been hyped up for kind of since the beginning, but he was only really revealed in the last 3 years, called the Witness.
Wait, is it still Lance Reddick voicing him?
No, he died.
I know. I just was wondering if they had like pre-recorded it.
No, it's the Arbiter. The Arbiter's voicing him, which he did a fantastic job. And everyone. He's also Darth Vader.
James Earl Jones.
Gaspy Gust.
Yeah.
James Earl. That's a good replacement for Lance Reddick, I gotta say. Well, not replacement. Continuation, I guess. Is a better word.
Yeah. Oh my god. I wasn't ready for that. That was so good.
It's gonna be a great short. Now. Maury?
Continuing.
Hang on.
Okay.
No, I think it's Keith David.
Oh, that's also good. That's also really good. Dude, Keith David's singing is.
Yeah, he did amazing with Zavala. You can really tell the difference, but it's still, it's still awesome. Like, really good performance. Genuinely emotional.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad.
And over one of the things that I really liked was how they, for the last 2 years since they introduced these new subclass, well, actually like 3. I skipped over Beyond Light because it's pretty shit. But that was another DLC that was in between Shadowkeep and Witch Queen. That was really shit. So, but what happened is, since Beyond Light, for the last 2 years, pretty much, Commander Zavala was, and the whole Vanguard was all against using the new stuff that came out because it was associated with the darkness. And they were like dedicated to the light, and they were all like, don't trust the darkness, don't use the darkness powers because you're going against the Traveler or whatever. And spoilers, in the final shape, Commander Zavala, his ghost, confronts the Witness like by himself, and because Commander Zavala was like giving himself up to the Witness to bring back his family, and his ghost stepped in out of nowhere and like stood up for Commander Zavala, and the Witness kills his ghost, meaning that Commander Zavala had no connection to the light anymore, making him mortal. And afterwards, Keith David does it so well, because at this point there's no, you hear about this conversation through a radio station that you tune into about like Ikora and him talking about how he's now mortal, and like the conversation ends with Keith David as Zavala saying, Ikora, will you teach, I know this must sound hypocritical, but will you teach me how to use darkness? And for like 2 years he's been like the most like anti-darkness person, you know? And at this point, you know, that saying that was just crazy. And then another spoilers, you know, so Cade 6 came back. You know, Nathan Fillion came back.
He's back.
Yeah. You could
go.
It's not really that big of a spoiler. It was literally the first trailer that came out for the final shape was Crow, which was Cade 6's killer, and Cade 6 fighting. And the Crow was Uldren, but Uldren, like, I think lost his memory when he got revived by his ghost, and he kind of became a new person.
Yeah, I just gotta say before we continue, I was genuinely pissed when Cade 6 died.
Yeah.
I was mad.
Yeah. But yeah, they brought him back, and as usual, Nathan Fillion did his Nathan Fillion thing, and
Good.
you know, did really good.
He's gonna play Guy Gardner next.
And so you go through the campaign, and here, let me send some screenshots, because this is the most. I thought the Dreaming City came out with Forsaken, and I thought that was like the most beautiful thing that they'd ever done. But then this came out. Let me send some pictures.
I'm excited to see pictures.
Oh,
Ooh.
that is pretty.
Ooh.
It's the
That
why are the
is
ghosts so big?
slay.
Are those
Oh, wow.
ghosts, Maury?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is inside of the Traveler.
Got it.
So as you go in, I think it's Cade or Ikora that says like, as things are outside, they are inside. And so the inside is basically like a weird version of everything that is outside of the Traveler.
Who's the voice of her?
Ikora?
Yeah. Ikora.
Gina Torres. You know who that is? She was in Firefly.
Oh.
Oh.
And Suits.
Oh!
Suits.
I know that one. Yeah.
Suits is coming out with
She
the
was-
9th season.
She was the boss.
Yeah. Yeah, the patrol space is so cool. Everything in it, as you go through the campaign, it's all a straight line pretty much towards the end. You start off at the left side, and throughout the story, it feels like a journey. Like, have you seen the third Planet of the Apes movie?
No.
No.
Wait, okay,
well, it's kinda like
which
a-
Planet of the Apes?
The newest
Okay.
Planet of the Apes, the third one.
Yeah, no.
Have you seen the Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like that, like a journey, like you're going somewhere.
Oh,
The whole map feels like that as you go left to right.
so like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I guess so. And you start off with that first picture, and then you go to the third picture, the blooming, and then you start going through that second picture, and then you keep going further and further down until that last picture with all the hands and stuff. And you keep going through, and it all gets more and more crazy and trippy. And there's the visual motif of like stuff being sliced into little slices,
Uh-huh.
and then all the hands everywhere, which is a big motif. And the raid is the ending of the story. And they made it in this really cool way to where the story is not so. The first DLC of Destiny was a huge controversy because you had to play the raid to experience the finale of the story. And I think the people that raid, still to this day, and even more back then when the game was really new, almost no one played the raids because they were so hard. And you had to have, they were a huge time investment in order to do a raid. So not everyone would experience the end of the story. So they'd be left, with half a story pretty much. What they did with this DLC was that the story in the regular campaign was you trying to find a way to somehow beat the witness before he does the name of the DLC, the final shape, which is the light is described as like all emotions, like good or bad, whereas the darkness is the witness says it's stillness, it's nothing, it's like emptiness. He wants to freeze the universe into a final shape to where everything stands still and no one feels anything. And they in the lore of the witness, he's made up of a bunch of other entities, and throughout the story you just keep piecing together little parts of how you could possibly even hurt an entity like the witness that can do that can destroy the entire universe basically. And you feel like you're getting closer and closer to confronting a god. That's actually how it feels. And all of the encounters, well, all of the story missions have really cool little like mechanics and like puzzles that are built into the story and everything. And it's just so well done. Every single one feels fresh and interesting. Every single story mission feels completely new and not like, even though these places that you go to are kind of weird recreations of places you've already been in the universe, it still feels completely new, which I think is so cool. And then after you beat the story, you're kind of left at, well, what's going on? What's happening now? And what happened after that is the raid race that happened June 7th, this past Friday, which I think started at 10 p.m. Pacific time, or 10 a.m. Pacific time. Now, raid races usually are pretty big for everyone that raids, and that's about it, really. No one really pays attention anymore, except for since Forsaken, which was like 4 years ago. No one's really paid attention to raid races unless you are really big into raiding. But this time, it was all linked to the story and the actual ending of Destiny. And it's whenever there's a huge enemy in lore, one fire team of 6 or 3 gets sent in to eliminate whatever threat it is. And in this, 6 people went into the raid. Well, a lot of fire teams went into the raid. And this was probably the craziest and hardest thing I have ever experienced in my life. Because I took part in it, and I was in there for 9 hours.
Ugh,
That's a while.
that's like a
So-
fucking job.
What everyone used to say was the best raid ever, Last Wish, and also the best raid, like world's first race, was Last Wish that came out with Forsaken, and it took the very first completion of it took 18 hours and 49 minutes, and that was just because everyone was so underleveled for that raid. Everyone, the raid was like 1040. Everyone was like 950, which is an insane gap, because even like 20 levels under is already like you're gonna die quite quickly from being shot by like the lowest level enemy. And that's the reason it took 18 hours and 49 minutes, and no one thought that was going to happen again, because that was more of a mistake that it took that long. When I got on, it had already been going for like 7 hours or 9 hours, something like that, and it had already become the third longest raid race. And everyone had just gotten to the third encounter, and there was 5. My team made it to the second encounter, and then we couldn't beat it for 9 hours. And when I got off, they had just made it to the 4th encounter. And they were still going. And after 19, I think, hours... Actually, let me pull it up. What was it? 18 hours and 59 minutes. So 10 minutes more than Last Wish. And that was intentional. It was just that hard.
Ugh.
Let me send you a screenshot
Ugh.
of what the room looked like.
Okay. Oh, we're at an
Uh,
hour and 14 minutes.
Okay.
I found something that we're gonna react to, and then we'll do a Stay or Spooky.
Okay.
Okay.
Where is the picture?
It's tangentially connected to what we're talking about.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh. Sorry. Anyway.
Here it is. So this is the last encounter. That's the witness. And I believe he's the largest entity that Bungie has ever created.
God damn. That's a big bitch.
And you fight him. And people spent hours and hours and hours at this last encounter. I fell asleep at about 3 a.m. watching the live stream. And yeah, after almost 19 hours, I believe it was... What team was it? Parabellum, Team Parabellum. Kind of little known, which is great, because at this point, one of the controversies was that for the last 4 races, I think, this guy and his team, Saltic Repo, had won, and everyone was so sick and tired of him winning every single race. When Bungie posted that the raid had been beaten, every single comment that I saw, as far as I scrolled down, was, "I'm so glad Saltic Repo did not win this one. I'm here for the Saltic Repo hate." Every single one, which is crazy.
Good. I agree. Hate people that are successful.
Oh God.
Yeah. Fuck them. You should be more successful than they are.
And then, so after they beat the raid race, new activity popped up, which was to strike. It's called Excision, and it was Bungie's first 12-man activity. 12 people in a single activity.
12?
Yeah. And it was just you, and the first cutscene is so insane because it's every single character that has ever been in Destiny, basically, that has helped you.
Oh.
There was like Saint 14, Osiris, the Witch Queen, Anna Bray, the Stranger that I mentioned earlier. They were all in there, and Zavala gave a huge hype speech. Cade and Crow and Ikora were all there, and they all fucked shit up, dude. And in the final room, Saint 14 popped a bubble, and all 12 people just went ham on the witness's chest, and then you just fucking blew him up and sent him out into fucking infinity.
Good.
And it was awesome.
That's where he should be.
Yeah, and there was like 3 different cutscenes that played after that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all really really heartfelt. And the first one was, in order to beat the witness, your ghost had to channel the light of the traveler through him, and like shoot a giant beam of light directly into the traveler or into the witness's heart. And spoilers, your ghost dies forever, basically.
Oh shit!
And then you go into this like infinite void of white, and you speak that you like beg the traveler. Your character begs the traveler to bring back your ghost, and then Nathan Fillion's voice, all right, comes up behind you, and he basically sacrificed himself to bring back your ghost.
Wow.
Again?
This motherfucker.
Yeah. And he said,
Again?
Cade even said, he was like, I know some people are not going to like this. Just tell them it was my choice. Which I think has a double meaning, because Nathan Fillion, is pretty busy with the Rookie and whatever. So
Is he talking through Cade? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be Guy Gardner, so
Yeah, I feel like
he's got to take some time to have be a ginger and have a bowl cut.
Yeah. So yeah, I think
Okay.
and that was the end of Destiny of 10 years. And it was honestly really good.
What would you rank it out of 10?
There was so far every complaint that I have had over the years, for the most part, have they've managed to just knock it out of the park with this one. I cannot complain about a single thing in this. At literally everything I could have asked for. So 10 out of 10.
Nice. A 10 out of 10 for Maury. The first time that has ever happened.
Yeah, even though I couldn't beat the raid, right? Day one, but I don't think barely any people could.
Yeah,
it took 19 hours, so I didn't feel bad about it.
Honestly, I don't even know
which I think is a good thing.
That team that wins constantly, but I'm glad they lost.
Yeah.
Fuck them for winning too much.
Everyone is.
What's their name?
The guy's name is Salta Greppo. That's
Fuck
his team.
them. It doesn't matter what their name is, because they're a bunch of losers.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, everything about it, amazing. Definitely worth. It's $100.
Oh.
To be fair, but honestly,
right. Hold on, $100.
That was, yeah.
All right, knowing that it's $100 is your score change.
No, I paid for it, and honestly, I think do not buy Lightfall though. The last DLC, that thing was a fucking piece of shit, and that was $100. Do not buy it. It is not worth the money. But yeah.
Okay.
The final shape.
All right, I'm gonna stream something. Go to my. Everyone watching?
Okay.
Tell me when you're watching.
I'm watching.
I'm watching. Well, it's loading.
I might have to turn it down so we can talk over it.
Okay. Oh.
Oh. saw it.
No.
The hell?
That's pretty fucking sick, dude.
This is awesome. This game is like, hey, what is Captain America?
Yeah.
This is pretty fucking sick. Oh yeah.
It's pretty.
I'm buying it. Like there's no question about it.
I fucked up. Hold on. Sorry. I clicked off. Let's rewind a little bit. My bad.
That's so cool. Ooh.
The railgun.
That's splattered.
Oh, fucking mech.
Nice. Oh, we gotta fight a Titan as a Titan? That's sick.
That was cool.
You get a dragon. The game said
You know, you see that and you wonder why Games Workshop, the people that make Warhammer, can't fucking make anything like this. And their lore is like crazier than that. But
Yeah.
they just don't do anything like that.
I'm gonna buy the shit out of that game.
I am buying the shit out of that.
I like that Bethesda.
Absolutely.
You know what? Good on Bethesda. What studio did this though? What?
I don't know.
What's? I know it's not Bethesda. Actually, Bethesda. I know it's one of their their companies.
id Software.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Doom Eternal. Okay, that game came out 4 years ago, so this means they've been working on this bitch for 4 years.
At least 4 years.
Well, it's gonna be 5 by the time it comes out.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about the lore, but I can appreciate the way it looks.
I think a video of Sahara playing through the first Doom game would be fire. But
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's pretty sick. That's pretty sick.
it's pretty sick.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I'm playing it.
Yeah, of course.
I'll probably pre-order it, honestly. I don't even pre-order anything.
Yeah, maybe. I can think about it.
Damn, the way he said he'd pre-order it.
I'm gonna also while we're here, I'm gonna talking about games. I have something to shit talk real quick.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so Batman Arkham is one of the biggest games of all time. Okay,
Mhm.
It
Okay.
kind of like defined how free flow combat should be.
Yeah.
So the Arkham universe has taken some hits with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League being as bad as it is. So
Mhm.
the geniuses at WB thought, hey, you know how we should continue this? A fucking Batman Arkham game exclusive to the MetaQuest 3. What? They're smoking penis. That's what they're doing.
Hello.
They're smoking penis. It's the Roger Craig Smith is going to be the voice. He was the voice for Arkham Origins.
Okay.
Which that game was decent. I feel like a lot of people hated it because there was a twist that the Joker was the Black Mask the entire time, and people were pissed because the Joker was literally the bad guy of the previous 2 games. So people were tired of him.
Yeah, I get that. Valid.
Yeah, valid, but overall it's pretty good. So since Kevin Conroy passed away, they're doing Roger Craig Smith,
Nice.
and it just pisses me off that it's a MetaQuest 3 game. But they claim that it's going to be free flow combat in VR. That they're trying to bring the Batman Arkham combat into VR. I doubt it, but.
I doubt it too, but whatever.
Like, in order for it to work the way you need... in order for it to work in a way for me to care, it would have to be like Ready Player One.
Mhm.
But that's my... And the bad guy in it is going to be fucking Ratcatcher for some reason. But that's all I had to say about this matter.
Ratcatcher.
All right. Is it time?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay, let me open my notes. Hold up.
Well, you gotta do the thing.
I'll just take a second.
We gotta do the
I
thing.
will.
Sahara,
Gotta
you're
do
not
the
doing
thing.
the thing. You gotta do the thing, Sahara.
I know.
You're not
I'm gonna
doing
do
it.
the thing.
You gotta do the
I'm
thing.
gonna do it. I'm gonna do
Well,
it.
you haven't. So let's go.
All right, Reid. It's time for Sahara Spooky Time.
Bass boosted version of the intro. I'm kidding.
All right. Do we want to do guesses?
Of course. Wait, you
Okay,
gotta throw
how
out a
many guesses
hint.
do you guys-
We get 3. Throw out a hint though.
All right. Let's see. So this one takes place in the 1800s, and it's about a man.
Johnny
About a
Appleseed?
man.
No.
Oh, okay.
What'd you say, Maury?
No, I was just saying.
He said
About a man.
It's
Oh,
about
yeah.
a man.
Yep.
Jack the
About a
Ripper.
man.
Is that
No.
1800s?
I don't know. I just guessed. I don't know.
I
You know
don't
they,
think
you know
so.
they caught him.
I don't know.
Finally,
Anyway, that's off
that-
topic.
he's off the streets. Finally, anyway.
I have a theory about that
But
that
hey,
kind of coincides with this
it's
week's.
just a theory, a gay
That's how
theory.
it's gonna end this week's episode. I hate you.
Sorry.
Anyway, I had that written into my script. Bastard. Anyway. Okay, let me give you another hint.
That's kind of vague.
He was an artist.
Hitler.
No, it's about Vincent van Gogh.
Yo! First time in Sahara Spooky Time history, Reid got one right.
No, I've got the Roanoke Colony one. But you know how
yeah,
how I knew?
How?
Because when I asked you to make shorts the other day, you did the Vincent van Gogh one.
Oh, no,
So
that was
that's-
unrelated.
No, I'm that.
No,
to me,
I
that's
had that one queued already. It was
was a
being
Freudian
cut,
slip.
just waiting.
yeah. No, to me, it's a Freudian slip. And as soon as you said artist, I'm like, oh, it's my main man, Vincent van Gogh.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And I'm very excited. So yeah. So previously on the Gred podcast, we have discussed that the episode Vincent and the Doctor is one of the best episodes of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And since discussing
I'm
that-
gonna watch it after this. We're done recording.
Can we?
Sure.
Anyway. Okay, anyway. So after we talked about that, I had been thinking about this podcast that I used to listen to in high school. And it's called the Art Curious Podcast by Jennifer Zassel. And she talks about art, artists, art pieces, but she talks about like the meanings, how they were created, and sometimes conspiracy theories.
Mhm.
And so this one, she brought this one to my attention, and I love to think about this one sometimes. It's weird. I like to think about it sometimes. But to make this more engaging, for the first time, we are going to be doing a Kahoot during Sahara Spooky Time.
Okay.
There's no stakes this time because this is just a test. So, bragging rights if you win.
But
I did test this out with a friend. She didn't get any of them right,
okay.
unfortunately.
That's
Since then,
a
I
good
added-
sign.
Yeah.
Well, you still get points if you don't get them right. We
Oh,
learned.
good pity points.
Yeah, so I learned Kahoot. First off, you have to pay for like everything in Kahoot now. Gay.
Oh, shit
I mean,
talking.
not gay.
Shit
Pride
talking.
Month.
Keep going. Shit
I
talking.
love
shit-
Kahoot.
Sponsored
However,
by Kahoot.
why do I have to spend $7.99 for the most basic package a month?
Yeah.
And I don't even get all the options. It's stupid. I
Yeah,
had to pick
fuck
some
those greedy
dumbass looking
bastards.
background that is like a couch
How they
because I couldn't make it black or just plain. Anyway,
how dare they add to the education budget? How dare they?
Anyway, so I'm gonna stream my screen. And then you guys are to join.
Ooh.
Okay.
So I want you guys to pick funny names. Please.
Maury, don't get us canceled.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
without getting us canceled. Funny.
Why is this?
So I'm
why is
gonna-
this? What the fuck is this aspect ratio? Maury, am I smoking crack here?
What, the background?
No.
Yeah, it's 1-to-1.
Yeah.
1-to-1 ratio. The shit for Instagram.
Yeah. What the fuck? It's not something you did. It's the game. It's Discord.
Oh, rip.
I'll send it. Hold on.
Anyway.
Let me send a picture so you know what we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna outline in this Van Gogh's life before before I get into the actual theory, because the theory is for time purposes. I can't get into every single detail. It'll take hours. So I have outlined his life, and that is going to be what some of the questions are about, because I can't ask you questions about the theory. So whenever we're all in and ready to start. Who is that? Is that Reid
That's me. Oh, nice.
that just came in?
Yeah, that's Reid.
See.
I'm Jack B. Hoff.
Okay. All right. Van Gogh was born in Zundert on March 30th, 1853, 1 year after his parents had a stillborn son, also named Vincent. He was born into a Protestant family with 3 younger sisters and 2 younger brothers. As a child, he loved nature, though in his school years, he wasn't abnormally creative. He attended boarding school in Zevenbergen until the age of 13, where he attended a school in Tilburg. Although he received good marks and had a knack for languages, he dropped out in the middle of the 1867-1868 school year.
What a dumbass.
All right.
Stay in school.
All right, first question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Is Van Gogh older than the Wild West? This one's just a fun one. Ooh.
Knew it.
So the Wild West
Let's go semen.
started roughly in the 1860s, around 1865. All right, one more question before we move on.
Ooh.
What was Vincent's first job at 16? Carpenter, farmhand, art dealer, or altar boy?
Do you get paid to be an altar boy?
No,
No, you just get raped, right? That's it?
Maybe. I mean,
Well,
I guess
his
that's.
dad was a minister, so you got 3 seconds. 2.
Damn.
All right. Damn. At 16, Vincent became an art dealer's apprentice. He was
Oh.
adopted into the Hague branch of Goupil & C art dealing. Around
was
this
too
time, he
obvious.
began writing letters to his younger brother, Theo.
Well
He would
also,
eventually...
art dealer is not the same as art dealer apprentice.
Well, see, the apprenticeship didn't last very long, and this was a long first job because from 1870-ish to 72-ish, he was in art dealing. So he wasn't an apprentice for very long. He did have his own clients and such. So he started writing letters to his younger brother Theo. So when I refer to his younger brother, I am referring to Theo.
Okay.
Okay.
He would eventually travel to Paris and found asylum in religion. He would passionately attend sermons and share his excerpts and experiences of the Bible with his younger brother. Around this time, he was losing interest in the world of art dealing, despite his love for art. Theo, however, was gaining more and more traction as an art dealer himself. In 1876, Vincent was fired from being an art dealer. Dang. All right. Seaman on top.
Mm-hmm.
As usual.
Yeah. What was Vincent's dream job? Artist, clergyman, farmer, or baker?
Okay, I feel like
Dude, it's hard. Damn.
Right.
I was like, artist is too obvious, but I'm just gonna go with it.
Van Gogh had a brief stint as his dream profession, a clergyman. He had the knowledge and love for God, but his career stayed stagnant. During this time, he was a teacher at a few boarding schools. In 1877, his parents grew worried, as Vincent, now aged 24, had no clear path in life. From 1872 to 1881, he searched for his passion until some thoughtful advice pointed him in the right direction from Teo. We rightly came to the conclusion that, first of all of our goal must to be finding a certain position and profession that we can devote our lives to entirely. And that was around 1878. After this, he tried to find other suitable positions until moving home in 1881, maybe 1882. Homie moved back in with his parents. All right. What age did Vincent start pursuing art as a profession? 27, 22, 30, or 29?
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Got some
Oh,
points on the board for check me off. All right. So, after returning home, he spent some time sketching and drawing before he created his first painting, The Potato Eaters. Shortly after, he applied to an art school, Antwerp Art Academy, but he never returned to the Netherlands. He found the lessons here to be far too traditional, despite enjoying the experience of art school. He loved being able to create whatever he wanted in the endless art supplies. He then decided he would visit Teo in Paris. During this time, while living with Teo, he created the Irises and Café Terrace at night. Also, a few other Impressionist artists, such as Monet and Gauguin, had a great impression on him at this time, and eventually they would become friends. After moving to the south of France, he had the ability to paint outdoors for hours. He created a major abundance while in the south of France. And then, I can't remember if this is the right one. So, which continent gave Vincent the most inspiration?
Okay.
Asia, Europe, South America, or Australia?
Well, they didn't know? Did they know Asia yet?
They make Australia yet?
I don't think they made Australia yet either.
So this is the continent that gave him the most inspo in his painting.
Oh, fuck, I forgot the vote.
Damn. All right, so not just Asia, but specifically Japan and a lot of the Eastern countries he drew inspo from. So I believe the next question goes in line with this. So while in the south of France, he created the largest stint of paintings, letters, and drawings in his entire career. How much did he create in 15 months? Paintings, drawings, letters. I should have made this one longer, but I didn't, so read quickly.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I forgot to add time to this one.
Okay.
15 months.
Sahara be like, here's a complex question, answer it in 15 seconds.
It was 20.
Swish!
Ooh! Swish. All right. So, he did create over 200 paintings, 100 drawings, and over 200 letters in 15 months, which was a new painting every 36 hours.
Hey.
Yeah. Shortly
like-
after this,
He was
Yeah.
on coke for the entire time, right? No fucking way.
sure.
Heroin.
Yeah, straight heroin, meth, and coke mixed together.
Yeah. Absinthe.
A little bit, yeah.
I actually have Van Gogh.
Don't forget lead.
absinthe.
Don't forget lead paint.
All right,
Yeah.
don't look. Okay, hang on.
I looked.
Yeah, I looked too.
I'm gonna have to restream. Hang on, I gotta see which question's next.
Incredible.
Okay.
This is great.
Well,
Yeah,
I
thanks.
forgot. I added some since I wrote this. So, all right.
Is your monitor a normal monitor, Sahara?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just
Why?
trying to.
Do you want me to make it?
No, I was. It's in a 1:1 aspect ratio and disc. There you go. Wait, go back to that.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm fucking
All right.
talking about.
All right. Shortly after this, in 1889, Van Gogh dreamed of an artist colony in the big yellow house he lived in Arles. He invited all of his friends to Paris. Only one showed up. Who?
Damn.
Who?
Ah,
I don't even know who that is.
I just threw out a name. I just
All
went.
right. After he and Gauguin could no longer agree is when Vincent's mental instability started. He suffered his first breakdown, and it was possibly due to epilepsy. Although, in this time of mental difficulty was the infamous ear episode. Why did Vincent van Gogh cut off his ear?
Keep crazy.
This is
Oh,
also kind of a theory. It is not 100% proven as to why.
What?
But I have a kind of answer.
I argue. No, we're about to argue because this is. some
yeah.
bullshit.
Actually, he was crazy.
He was crazy. You can't.
Therefore-
You can't write because he was
therefore-
crazy and be like, "That's not the answer." No, we all know he did that shit because of an argument because he's crazy.
That's like saying, like, why did
Well, okay.
Why did someone kill their wife? Because she cheated, or because he was crazy? Well, it's because
Well-
he was both.
Because it's both.
Well, Van Gogh actually didn't cut off his own ear. The man that we were just talking about who answered his call to come to Arles was most likely the one who cut off his ear when they got into an argument outside of a brothel.
That's wrong.
And
What?
he... Hello?
Didn't Van Gogh cut his own ear off though?
So there's a lot of different story, and I'm going to get into that one momentarily when I get into the rest of the theory.
Hmm.
So hold on. So, it is alleged that Gauguin, who was a fencer, used a razor blade to slice the tip of Van Gogh's ear off in an argument that they were having outside of a brothel. And it just happened in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, it sounds like a brothel argument.
Yeah. All right.
What's
In
what's?
1889,
I have a question.
Yes.
What corroborates that story? Like,
that one was after they looked at all these things under a microscope and based on researchers. That's where that story comes from.
got it.
The other story, I'm going to tell you where that came from later. So, in 1889, he voluntarily committed himself to a mental institution. He said, "I have put my heart and soul into my work and lost my mind in the process." After physically healing, he decided art would help him heal and let nature recapture his heart. Once able, he painted all the beauty around the hospital. Starry Night was painted while in the mental hospital. He had many incidents here and even poisoned himself by eating paint and kerosene. Eventually, by the approval of his doctor, which is insane, he was allowed to move back to Paris which he lived just outside the city, not quite countryside, and he painted many things here before his depression worsened and he walked into one of the fields that he had painted so many times on July 27th, 1890, and shot himself in the stomach. He died 2 days later on July 29th, aged 37.
Ugh, why would you shoot yourself in the stomach? God.
Right.
Well, he was crazy, so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Crazy.
I was crazy once.
Van
They
Gogh
locked me in a room.
never
Oh,
sold a single painting in his entire lifetime.
What?
All right. There is no way of actually knowing how many he sold. But we
Okay,
do know that
fuck you.
he himself, in fact, did sell some of his own paintings, but he did love to trade his paintings in exchange for art supplies and even some food. His work was exhibited and actually appreciated by some of his peers. And when he was living with Teo was able to trade it in his art dealing world to some very important people.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
before his
just-
passing,
I just can't with that. That is, I'm fucking ridiculous. Oh, he didn't
He's
sell
not-
any, but he traded some away.
no,
Uh-huh.
he did sell some, but he didn't sell all his paintings.
But didn't you say
He
there
did
was
try to sell them.
proof that he didn't sell any?
No.
No, keep going.
I said there's not enough proof to know how many he did in fact sell. There's no way to know how many he did sell or if how many there ever were created because there was many drawings and many paintings that he gave away
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
as well. So it's not like he's got receipt. Anyway. So this is where the theory starts. So before his passing, when he left the mental hospital, when he went back to Paris, he was staying in an inn. And the innkeeper's daughter, who was a teenager at the time, recounted the day of Van Gogh's death when she was in her mid-70s in 1953. She
Huh.
remembered how the man would go down to the field with his easel and supplies in the morning and always return at sunset. It was his routine. The day he was shot was unusual. He had returned around 9 p.m. without his easel or any of his other supplies. He was delicately holding a handkerchief to his chest. After asking if he was okay, he just went to lay on his bed. Her father went up to check on him, as he had heard some groaning. He asked him if he was all right. When Vincent lifted his shirt, he saw the wound and asked, "Unhappy man, what have you done?" Vincent said that he had tried to kill himself. He said that he went into the field, shot himself, and passed out from the pain. When he awoke, he could no longer find the revolver to finish the job and decided it'd be best to return to the inn. He said the same thing to the police and said, in not so many words, "My body, my choice." And he also states, randomly, he decided, "I do not want anyone to be blamed." Kind of sus. In 2011, Smith and Nafee wrote a book about Van Gogh in which they wanted to be his all-time 100% true biography. This
Okay.
book, I would love to read it, however, it is also over 1,000 pages long.
How long is the Bible?
Anyway. I don't know.
I'm gonna Google that shit.
So the theory that I'm getting this from
1,200
in-
pages. Vincent Van Gogh
Okay.
catching up on the fucking Bible. Let's go.
No, for real. So I'm gonna look up how long this is. The actual book is later. Anyway, so this theory was not even the main focus of their book. It was actually something that they stumbled upon when they were doing research for the book. And it is not even a full chapter on its own in the book.
Mhm.
As told by Jennifer Dossel. I haven't read the book. I really want to, though. So, Smith and Nafee actually got rare opportunity to go into the Van Gogh Museum's archives and see everything. Everything.
That's cool.
And that's how they wrote their book, and it's very cool. And so, while they were in the archive, they noticed that there were many inconsistencies about his death. And in his final letter to Teo, which was written the day he shot himself, he was very joyous, positive, and showed excitement for the future. He even said that he placed a big order for paint. It was not of someone who was erratic and suicidal. Also, to note, that one was on his person, like in his pocket. There was another letter that he had also sent the same day that was also very positive, and it eventually would make it to Teo, but it had the same undertone.
Could hear me out. Could he
Okay.
have been super positive because he knew he was going to kill himself, and the shit about the pain is just so Teo doesn't catch on?
That is a possibility.
Uh-huh.
However, he grew up very religious, and he himself was at one time a clergyman, and based on the times and everything like that, it is not Smith and Nafy personally don't believe that he would have killed himself because of his religious background and knowing it was a sin.
So what you're saying is we gotta go back in time and save Vincent. That's what I'm hearing.
Get the TARDIS, pull it around.
You know, it's really fucked up that the doctor can just save Vincent at any time and he just doesn't.
And he didn't.
And
Yeah.
he didn't?
So, at first, nobody called this a suicide, but they said Vincent had hurt himself. There were no witnesses nor a weapon. They believed that Smith and Nafy believed this was a widely accepted story. So Emile Bernard, if you remember from a few slides back, I asked who answered his call. Emile Bernard was one of his art apprentices, and he was one of his younger friends. So Emile Bernard was the first person to ever claim that Vincent van Gogh had killed himself. Emile Bernard was hundreds, if not 1,000 miles away at the time, and had no way of knowing if that was true.
Okay, but
He had not been speaking. Hang on.
Okay.
He had not been speaking to Van Gogh at the time, and only came into town for the funeral. So there was no way that he could have possibly known that he had killed himself.
Okay.
Also, Emile Bernard is not known to be very truthful because he loved drama, and when Van Gogh's ear was sliced off, he is the one that created the story that he cut his ear off and gave it to a woman for love.
What?
So it's not known if it's true or not because he started spreading that rumor
Where's his whereabouts?
when he again was not there.
Okay, but so you said he was like thousands of miles away from Vincent van Gogh?
Hundreds
Hundreds of miles away?
to 1,000.
Okay. Where was his whereabouts at the time of Vincent being shot? Because
That's a great question.
if he's hundreds of miles away, he didn't do it.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he did it, but I'm saying he couldn't have known that it was for sure a suicide if he wasn't there.
I mean, he could just be guessing and just be calling his shot because he knew Vincent and he knew Vincent was
True.
depressed. So
Fair.
So he could just
All
be
right,
like,
anyway.
"Oh, he's dead. Vincent killed himself."
So Emile Bernard was found with multiple versions of the story of how Van Gogh died, and he was trying to sell that story along with the ear story to multiple art critics.
What?
The authors believed that the innkeeper's daughter's account was based on her father's story and deviated from the original more because of her age, and she couldn't 100% remember what happened when she was a teenager. Now that she's in her 70s, and her dad was a little bit more recorded than hers. And, well, they also believe, because of things that were happening around this time, that it being the 100th anniversary of Van Gogh's birth, and there were many celebrations where she lived, they believe that she only decided to put it to paper because of those celebrations, trying to get a little cash money.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Question.
Cash money.
Cash money. Do you find her timing to be convenient?
This is an opinion
There's no
question.
correct answer here. Yeah, there's no correct answer.
Okay. This,
I can't put multiple answers because that costs money. Apparently.
Okay.
Anyway.
fuck
So in
who?
1956, a man in his 80s came forward to tell his story. So this is 3 years after the innkeeper's daughter.
He's gonna be like, yeah, I
So-
shot him because he's fucking weird.
Hold on. So his name was René Secretan. He also claimed to have a first-hand relationship with the artist. He was part of a prosperous family who vacationed in Aver. In 1890, he was 16 years old. He loved to hunt, fish, and cause mischief. His hero was Buffalo Bill Cody, who had just done a show in town. He loved the reenactment of real fights between the cowboys and the Indians, so much so that he even had his own garb, complete with a revolver in his rucksack.
Okay.
This gun was also used as an intimidation tactic. He loved practical jokes and loved to harass the people of Aver. And if things weren't going his way, he would pull his little something out of his knapsack.
Excuse me?
And
Excuse me. Hey, yo? Pardon me?
hello?
Speak
His
to that.
what?
Speak to that.
Hello?
Speak
Anyway.
to that.
So he used his revolver to prank locals and
That's
to
a
get
good
what he
prank.
wanted.
That's called
Oh, yeah.
that's called coercion.
Yeah. He also used it to shoot squirrels, rabbits, things like that.
Yeah, this guy killed
However,
him.
however, he described the gun as trigger happy. His older brother, however, was interested in art and music. He enjoyed having a drink with like-minded individuals. And naturally, our good friend Vincent, being one of those like-minded individuals, also loved to have a nice little drinky drink. And Renee was often around his older brother, who was often around Vincent. And he loved to tease Vincent relentlessly because he viewed him as an easy target. At first, Vincent thought it was silly, salt in his coffee and a snake in his paint box. But as the summer grew longer, his patience grew shorter, and by July, the relationship is described as poisonous. For the authors, it added up. A moody teen with a trigger-happy gun, they believed Renee had shot Vincent. Renee was prone to poking the bear, and the bear was prone to outbursts, especially when alcohol was involved. Once Renee tried to intimidate with a gun, who knows what could have happened? Considering the artist knowing little to nothing about guns, they believed Vincent, just being shot and not knowing the extent of his wounds, tried his best to get back to the inn, and stunned Renee cleaned up the crime scene, taking the gun and easel to hide the evidence. In their book, they covered all the bases to remove these inconsistencies. Although there was no autopsy at the time, the doctors at his bedside agreed it did not look self-inflicted. They thought the angle was too off.
Yeah,
And
this kid
Vincent
shot
would-
him. No way.
And Vincent would have left a note to say goodbye to Teo. He wouldn't have left anything open with Teo. The only thing preventing this from being a possible fact is that Vincent had said he had done it. Renee's story also came out around the time a movie about Van Gogh had just come out. But Renee actually had a reasoning for why he brought this story forth. Renee saw the movie about Van Gogh, and upon seeing the movie, he was like, that man was not Hollywood handsome. He was not perfect. He was not any of the things that they had portrayed him at. So he wanted to publish his story so he could correct the personality Hollywood got wrong. Renee also claims to not have known about the artist's death until he returned home that summer. And he says that he read it in the newspaper of wherever he was from. I believe he said a Parisian newspaper. I'm not 100% sure. But they cannot find any reports like that in a Parisian newspaper. They have not found anything to corroborate the fact that he would have found out about it after he returned. Especially because in Aver, they did a city-wide inventory of all guns, and only one was unaccounted for. And that was René Secretan's revolver. So, come to find out, René, his father, and brother left the city for home in the middle of the night, just a few days after Vincent van Gogh had passed away.
Huh.
With the only gun unaccounted for.
Huh, that's kind of suspicious. You'd think.
So, question. Whose story do you believe? This is also an opinion one, so you can pick whichever one. I'm just curious.
I know what happened. I think it's him.
Slay. I also believe it could be him. While the facts of the way he died are irrelevant to the way he shaped the art world today,
Hold
it
on.
is inconclusive
Second.
yet unimportant.
Let's go. Sorry. So you gotta let the podium play. You gotta let the podium play. You gotta let the podium play. All right.
I'm sorry about
sorry,
that.
Continue.
All right, I'll restart that little bit. While the facts of the way he died are irrelevant to the way he shaped the art world today, it is inclusive yet unimportant. Van Gogh is still one of the greatest artists of his time and definitely a worldwide treasure. So, what do you guys think? You think he was murdered? Did he commit
He
suicide?
was probably murdered.
Yeah,
Let
I
us
think
know in the comments what you think. Do you think René Secretan did
He was
it, or
murdered.
have you
And
guys seen
we're gonna go back in time and beat this child up.
you guys remember Cold Case? You know, that guy drinks
yeah?
a case and so as he usually says, that motherfucker did it.
Yeah.
No, for real.
That motherfucker definitely did that shit.
He definitely did it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that
Yeah.
they didn't do something about him just pointing at a gun at somebody and being like, "Do this."
It's France, dude.
We'll say
It
that.
was
the laws.
France. Also, he was a child, and he
There's-
came from a very, very rich family.
Yeah, just okay.
It-
Clearly,
it-
this
it's
is
crazy.
before they invented liability.
Yeah, it's France.
It's France.
Yeah, they don't have that.
C'est la
in-
vie.
no.
Run around with your gun. Point it at whoever. Oh, wah wah.
Surrender to Hitler.
Aw. But yeah, no, I did not do that as much justice as Jennifer Dousel because I did not have the same hour and a half platform she does. Oh my god, she's amazing.
I mean, you can
But-
do that if you want. We can do that, Sarah.
You want to?
You want to go for an hour 30 on? You want to just make an hour 30 video on your own?
I could. I was gonna ask you if I could re-record that without the skipping parts for a standalone Sahara Spooky. So without the Kahoot.
Oh, of course. That's
Yeah,
actually smart.
We'll do that eventually.
Are we gonna tell them what's going on, or?
I think we should.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Maury.
Yeah, so basically, I didn't have a phone for a while, and my commander took that personally, and he made me have to check in every hour from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. And keep in mind, people that commit crimes in the army, when they get put on extra duty, they only have to check in till 10. So me, just because I didn't have a phone, I guess was punished because I couldn't. It was the day before we got paid. I wasn't didn't really have much money to spend on a brand new phone. Thankfully, after about a week of trying, and after getting paid, I finally got a phone. But that week was not great. Literally everyone I talked to, literally everyone, and I talked to a lot of people, were like, "That's ridiculous. That's insane." People that have been punished for committing crimes and stuff, even they were like, "That's crazy. That's insane." And thankfully, the people that were in charge of what is it? They were in charge of actually like making sure I did it. They also disagreed with it, so they kind of helped me out when they could. Some days, so it wasn't 100% to the letter, but it was still rough. I was very tired that week, but it kind of made me realize that I kind of just need to take a break, and I have 6 months left in the army, and it's just going to be really busy anyways, and I'm not going to find the time to be on the podcast. And I just need to focus on getting out of this fucking hellhole. But yeah, in 6 months I should be back, and in the meantime, Jalen will fill in for me.
Mm-hmm. And Maury will appear time to time if possible.
Yeah, if I can, if can, no can.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe we're going. But Jalen from the Christmas special, we know him, we love him. He'll be joining us next week. For
Good luck to him.
Reid, Sahara, and Jalen.
Hopefully, he can keep you guys from interrupting each other as I've attempted to.
Nah.
Yeah, I hope.
Nah.
He would do a good job, but you know.
Yeah, but
But yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah. We're also
well wishes to Maury.
Yeah, we're switching to a bi-weekly schedule. So realistically,
in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah. So really, Maury's only going to be gone for like what, 12 episodes?
It was half.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
And that's barely anything. So.
And he'll appear from time to time if possible.
Yeah.
We're gonna hide little pictures of him in every episode. Stay tuned.
No, I'm just gonna have Maury record something random, and then I'm gonna hide it throughout the episode, and you have to find it, and it's an Easter egg.
Please, that'll be so great.
Maury, can we do that?
Sure, if you want.
Yeah, that's sick.
That sounds really funny, actually.
All right. You know what? For your last impression, hit me with Donald.
It's been, I don't even know how long, and some of you still aren't subscribed. That's crazy. I was actually watching, I was actually watching over some episodes, and I saw, the subscriptions don't really match the views, so that's crazy. You should definitely subscribe if you haven't already, or I'll find you. You should also, follow our Instagram at the Gred Pod. I'll see you guys later.